Peace. This is the enemy's public. I am Bro.Nasir. Our people, we don't realize what we're doing. When we're having hours of discussion concerning Charlie Kirk, I'm going to very briefly talk about Charlie Kirk. And trust me when I say it's going to be brief. It won't be 3, 4, 5 hours discussing this dude. It won't. Because he's not important to me. He's not important. And what we're doing by discussing this man day in and day out is helping to make him way more important than he was. He debated us. He said disparaging things about us, disgusting things about us under the guise of a dialogue. Okay? But his targeted audience was his peers who were white. They would have us to think that he was galvanizing young people, but they were not specific what type of young people. Young people that shared his sentiment about us. And we should be talking about the atmosphere, the racism, the so-called white supremacy that created a Charlie Kirk. We should be talking about the hate for our people that created a Charlie Kirk. The false statistic that he regurgitated every time he came among us, the deflection that he used when somebody called him out and white people out when they do us harm. We should be talking about that because Charlie Kirk, the man, is a nobody. He thought he was important. His arrogance, his cockiness, he thinking that he's the smartest person wherever he went. But didn't know he was surrounded by killers the day he met his demise. The way we're covering this makes us, in my humble sentiment, look real stupid because we're helping to make this man more important than he was. What should have happened? We should have expressed our sentiment, meaning that he created the atmosphere to have him murdered. And when they put him in the ground, everything about him should go right along in the ground with him. Because if there's people who share his sentiment, we have them to worry about now, not Charlie Kirk. Because if people are being terminated from their jobs for merely telling the truth about Charlie Kirk, that says a lot. For people all over the United States to hold vigils for this man, that says a lot. For people to be punished for saying something about this man altogether, it says a lot. It says how hypocritical the United States is. And it tells us that the United States share the sentiment of Charlie Kirk concerning us. We could point out with truth what the man said about us. But some of us will be punished for pointing out that truth. And the ignorant among our people would say, well, he talked about this also, but he talked about that also. Regardless of who he talked about, our focal point should be what he said about us. And he talked about issues that concerned everybody, but the way he talked about it. You're talking about being, foul, or you don't have class for mocking his death. I wouldn't mock his death. I just don't give a damn. I wouldn't mock no death, but I just don't give a damn. Because if I died, he wouldn't give a damn. I don't go around committing crimes. But if I was killed by a cop, he'll call me a criminal. And he don't even know me. He'll create a narrative that criminalized me, like they did with the sister, Breonna Taylor. You don't go around being an EMT with a criminal record. They wouldn't even allow that. You can't even be that with a criminal record. But they tried to criminalize her because they made a botched raid on the wrong house. So they tried to criminalize her. We need to talk about things like that. People who criminalize us, people who use negative stereotypes about us, which is what Charlie Kirk did. We need to talk about that situation overall and talk about how violent white people are, because they are violent. They'll say how violent we are, but they're violent. Charlie Kirk's last words, he was about to go into a spill about our people when he was asked another question. They asked him about mass shooting done by trans people, and then they asked him about mass shootings altogether. And then he talked about gang violence. Now, talking about gang violence is one thing. If you are truly concerned about gang violence, but Charlie Kirk, Donald Trump, or any of these other people who talk about Chicago or any other city, our people are displaying self-destructive behavior among ourselves, I question their motives, because unless you care about us, you shouldn't be pulling that out your ass every time we call you out for harming us. They're trying to win an argument when they pull Chicago out their ass. They don't care if we die or if we kill each other. Charlie Kirk did not care if we die or if we kill each other. Donald Trump don't care if we die or kill each other. He wants to display power. He's sending troops into our cities. Meanwhile, schools are being shot up, churches are being shot up, his friends are being assassinated among his constituents in a rural Utah community. Unless you play for the Utah Jazz, if you're one of us, you better not be caught nowhere in Utah. Utah. He was among his own people. Then they tried to make it political. It's not political. That was not a political assassination, but it was an assassination. It wasn't political, but it was done by politicians. But it wasn't for Charlie Kirk's political views. It's deeper than that. Donald Trump tried to use this left thing, this right thing. He tried to. But the young man's family said they are devout Trump supporters. They're MAGA. Now they're coming out with the young man, Tyler Robinson, was with a trans person, trying to make that a motive. I'm not going to speculate. I don't know for certain what the motive was. I don't. But we need to stop talking about Charlie Kirk day in and day out, because he's not worth our time.